Well, hello there. You've likely clicked on this episode because you, my friend, are f***ing tired. So regardless if you're here because you're f***ing tired or want to know what to do about it when you get f***ing tired, I'm here to tell you what in the who's nats is going on. No, I'm not going to tell you you're not getting enough quality sleep. I tried that. And while that's still likely true, amongst other things I talk about ad nauseum around here, today I'm going to talk about some of the ways you're likely overseeing how you create this extreme level of burnout for yourself. So let's get right into it. One of the first ways you're stabbing yourself in the foot. Wait, is it stabbing or shoot? Either way, you're getting violent. Stop the violence, people! The first reason you're getting crazy is because you're trying to do everything right away. So we all have personal standards, right? Like, my day's not done until the laundry's been folded and put away. My 9-year-old, however, is totally fine with throwing the pile on her bed and saving it for a rainy day. I'll let you in on a secret. She's a lot more easygoing than me. But you're exhausted because, now, I'm gonna throw myself under the bus with you here. You're likely the type, like me, who has a number of high standards when it comes to cleanliness, organization, tackling tasks preventatively. Now, I'm gonna quantify exactly how much time and energy this drains from you with this example. My workday is done and I gotta fold the laundry, fine. But as I'm putting the laundry away, I notice a few fingerprints on the window. So I'm gonna grab the window cleaner and get to that really quick. Oh, and while I'm at it, I might as well top off the dog food in their feeders. The window and the dog food take no more than an extra 5 minutes to get done. Not a big deal, right? Well, if you've seen my 5-minute time savers episode, you will know that 5 minutes a day will clear out over 30 hours of your life in a year. But let's just say you did this a couple times per week, not every day. That's still 8.5 hours plus. Realistically, in this example, the windows can be addressed the next time it's due in our chore rotation, and the dog food can be filled when it's closer to empty. This takes the same amount of time without duplicating the task. We have a tendency to maintain a certain level of perfection that is somewhat self-sabotaging. I find that at the root of it, there's often these ideas that we're trying to make up for what we perceive we lack or what we feel out of control with our self-perceived failures. So being stubborn and anal retentive is a means by which we seek to gain control. In actuality, this type of behavior is holding you back from being able to liberate your attention to showing up 100% in the more important areas of your life. It overcomplicates the unnecessary. Reason number 2, your system is greater than your needs. Speaking of overcomplication, having the best of the best isn't always the best solution. Let me explain. Everything comes at a cost, right? Convenience specifically tends to come at a high cost that we often don't consider. And this is not just monetary. There is a net trade of value that needs to be calculated in order to decide whether or not the convenience is worth the trade. A common one most of us will go through at a certain point in our life is renting versus owning a home. I'll give this personal example because it's one my husband and I were contemplating just the other night. We own this home and this property, which all require a lot of care. We paid the mortgage, maintenance the home, we're responsible for simple things like mowing the lawns and cleaning the pool. If, however, we were to rent the home and take up residence in, say, the workshop, the rental would cover the cost of the mortgage and hiring somebody else to mow the lawns and clean the pool. In essence, we'd be living here for free, minus the land and maintenance. So why don't we do it? And I'll be honest, it's a tempting idea. Anyone looking to rent? We don't do it because of the convenience. This entire place is ours. We don't have to deal with neighbors/renters. We don't have to deal with marketing, contracts, renovating, re-renting, living in a smaller space, and all the other costs of our time, money, and energy that comes with having a rental near our residence. So what systems are creating more work for you because they're designed to tackle something more than you actually need or desire? Could it be an oversized team or a singular staff member you refuse to fire because you feel bad for them? Ooh, I might have hit a nerve for some of you because that's a common one. But let's be honest, you're doing neither of you favors when the energy of your association is rooted in fear and one that's slowly draining you over time. And while I can go into each of these reasons into even further depth, you get the idea. We can discuss more in the comments or social media to keep the conversation going. Let's move on to number 3. You aren't following your gut. There are times where it's important to be logical and non-emotional, of course. But when it comes to the course of your life and the things you're putting your heart and soul into on a daily basis, you have to use both head and heart. I call this your gut. For instance, if it's my life desire to travel the world indefinitely, from a standpoint of being a mom and having young kids, having a full-time business and employees, is this feasible right now? Can I make it feasible? I can't just throw caution to the wind and get on a plane tomorrow without the impact of probable negative consequence. Everybody has their own subjective reasoning and unique experiences that might work for them, but might not entirely work for you. It may be the total opposite of what works for you. Sometimes discovering that leads you to question your confidence in your own reason and judgment. This can be detrimental. When you find that it's hard to trust your gut, it's often because you're clouded in conflict, overwhelming, exhausted conflict. The quickest way to get over that cloudy confusion is to learn from your past mistakes and refine your judgments. Don't negate them. Your judgment is not the same as taking bad advice from a well-intended friend. No, this is you we're talking about. You know you better than anybody else. I mean, come on, think about it. You've literally been around for every second of your life. Learn how you misjudged previously and become a better judge by understanding it. The sooner you learn how to gauge and trust your own judgment, the sooner you'll get clarity on what truly fulfills and energizes you, strictly for you and not for anybody else. Okay, the last reason you're super zonked is because you're chasing dopamine highs. There's this trend going on right now called the dopamine detox. Psych Central states that a dopamine detox is a CBT approach that encourages self-regulation of habits. It goes on further to argue against the trendy approach of dopamine fasting in order to reset dopamine levels in the brain. It doesn't really fully work that way. It's more about becoming aware of both positive and negative habits so that you can formulate healthier ones. That said, sometimes healthier outcomes are a result of less exposure to those dopamine hits. Our brains are wired to seek the easiest, most pleasurable thing, and the next, and the next, and the next. From a psychological standpoint, when we cater to the whims and addictions of our brain, we cultivate laziness. And when the time comes to put in some effort, oh boy, it's overwhelming. When we earn our rewards, we're more likely to feel satisfied and balanced indulging in them. This, I think, is why Psych Central wanted to be really clear on the process of detox versus extreme fasting. It's not about saying no to those dopamine highs, but rather how you can create an earning system that generates value and energy for you both physically and mentally. So if you find yourself feeling absolutely unmotivated and drained after a weekend of fun events, delicious food, and social entertainment, this is likely why. You can look further into dopamine detox to discover what adjustments and habits would be beneficial to you, or you can check out some of the strategies and routines I outline in the Everyday Vacation course. Link is in the description box. With that said, I hope this episode has shown a spotlight on some areas you may be able to address when it comes to feeling dead tired. If you have any additional thoughts, questions, or requests, or how I can help you improve your energy and get back to living life, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment or reach out. I appreciate you for being here, and I'll catch you next time. Ciao.